Good morning and welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today. As always, it's getting lighter later every morning and darker earlier every evening. So that means winter's coming. I don't like winter too much, but the snow's kind of cool, but I like thinking of going down south for the winter time, but I'll probably stay here. So today we're going to continue on The Power is Within, the book I wrote that's available on Amazon. Pick up your copy today. But before we begin, smash that like button and subscribe. And thank you for my current subscribers and welcome to my new subscribers. I'm sure you will find some value here. Take what you need, leave the rest. All right, let's go. We are on location 744 on the ebook. And let me see, what are we talking about? Ah, yes, people look for symptoms of non-health. While you're at it, stop looking for symptoms of non-health or sickness. In Spanish, the response to someone who sneezes is to say salud, which variously means health, wealth, and security. It's the same word they use when clicking glasses together in a celebration. They literally toast to a person's health when they sneeze, like a celebration, because they are so confident the person is going to be fine. They don't look for symptoms. What do most people do when they sneeze? They start worrying about what that sneeze might mean. Are they getting a cold? Where did they get it? They have to work and can't afford to get sick. They begin to worry. They remember the last time they had a cold and how terrible they felt and how much work they missed and how long it took to recover. The same thing happens with every little sign of so-called illness. Every ache or pain sends them running to the doctor for a checkup. What does the doctor find? Well, they're ill, of course. If you believe the doctor and their diagnosis, you do, in fact, become ill. What you seek, you will find. What you believe, you will experience. If you're looking for something, you'll find it. I know even myself, my first thought is when I sneeze, or it used to be, oh man, am I getting sick? Now I think, health. When I sneeze, when the sneeze is coming out, I think, I'm healthy. I'm perfectly healthy. I know it sounds maybe a little childish and stupid, but it works for me. I haven't been sick for a long time. So, let's move on. Do you know how insurance companies make millions, and some of them billions of dollars? They play on your fear of sickness and death. Gambling that most of us will never experience the amount of sickness or an early enough death to make them pay out more than they take in. Guess who's winning that gamble? It's not you. Yeah. Why is this? Because most of the time you're not really sick. The insurance companies, the doctors, and drug companies, they're all part of the same complicated system trying to convince you that you are sick, then crafting solutions to that sickness, all the while charging you both in advance for the insurance and then after the fact for drugs and care that aren't covered. Meanwhile, you develop real sickness due to nothing more than anxiety and the stress that puts on the body. That real sickness is the one you cause for yourself, the sickness caused by belief. We have a pill for every ill, and we also have a name for every mental disorder. What do we have now? Social anxiety. My God, there's a bunch of them. I can't even remember them all. But hey, the doctor got a pill for it. And what do the pills deal with? The pills only deal with the symptom, not the underlying problem, which is caused by your thinking. Do you know that the leading cause of death, or do you know what the leading cause of death is? Nothing. Most people die of what the sickness and death industry call natural causes, meaning they don't know. There was no long-term illness, no cancer, no trauma, they just died. The real cause was that their time was simply up. They were finished here and the universe decided it was their time to go. Health insurance couldn't have saved them. Everyone wants to live forever. I do I do believe we live forever, but not in this body, okay? I don't believe we were ever born, nor will we ever die. In case you haven't guessed, I don't have health insurance. I trust that I will be taken care of as long as I'm meant to be here. None of this means that I don't take steps to take care of myself. I work out, I avoid fast food, which has very little nutritional value. I eat the right amount of calories. I do all the things to avoid causing my own death so I can focus on living the life I believe in. That's hard to do in most developed countries where everything in our lives is being increasingly automated, and it's cheaper to eat poorly than to eat healthy. Try eating organic. It's like I can buy $10 worth of regular food for the same price. Let me see, what is it now? I'll just say it this way. Organic food usually costs you almost twice the price as regular food. So it's cheaper to buy a candy bar than an organic apple. Go figure. Actually, a bottle of water sometimes is more than a bottle of soda. I struggled with eating healthy in my early 20s. I had what they called bulimia. I had an easier time quitting drinking and drugs than the cycle of overeating and purging. With alcohol and drugs, I could just quit altogether and avoid the substances. Eating, however, is necessary. I would eat until I couldn't move, wait until I felt better, and then do it all over again. I even tried to make myself throw up, but I was not able to. Then I'd run for miles and miles or train for hours to manage the calories. This went on for several years. Like all compulsive addictions, my eating disorder had nothing to do with food. That was just the outlet. The culprit was what I was living with. Something inside of me was eating me alive. Stuffing the food down was only an attempt to stuff the thing inside me back down. But it always came back up. I tried every diet. Like most, I'd lose weight, then put more back on, and feel even worse about myself. I thought I was dealing with an eating problem, but I was really suffering from a thinking problem. I see in my area so many people that are overweight, obesely overweight. And I understand that they're eating to comfort themselves because they have guilt, shame, anxiety, fears, whatever they have inside of them, and they try to stuff it down with food. I've done that. So I'm not condemning anyone for being overweight or overeating. I understand how that is. I've been there. I was up to about 184 pounds. I weigh 154 now, so that was 30 pounds. And it was tough. Nobody called me fat, but I sure as hell felt fat. And I didn't feel good about myself. And that cycle of binging and purging or dieting, that was terrible too. So if you're going through that today, I have compassion for you. I understand how terrible that can be. But the problem is not the food. The problem is inside of you. You have to deal with the problem, which is whatever you're carrying inside. Maybe you have some guilt, some shame, some resentment, some anger at your parents, whatever it is, but you need to deal with that. I think I talk about that later in the book, about how you can do that. Okay, the word disease has two parts. The prefix dis, meaning not, and the word ease, meaning, well, the word ease meaning, well, you get it. Disease literally means not at ease. A diseased person, then, is a person not at ease. It shouldn't surprise us that a person not at ease will always eventually become diseased. That is why it is so important to be at ease, comfortable in your own skin, at peace. The reason we have so many people today on antidepressants is because they are not at ease. I have no problem with taking antidepressants or any other drug for that matter, aside from the side effects they tend to cause. If they help you manage your symptoms, by all means take them, but remember that the symptom, by definition, is not the problem. Patching the crack in the wall doesn't remove the sink hole from under the foundation. Yes, I've taken antidepressants in my life, but the doctors will have you on those for the rest of your life. Not all doctors, but some of them will. And they work for about 6 months or a year, then you have to change to another one, and you never really get down to the root cause of the problem. the depression is just a symptom. Many times depression can be just cured by getting up and doing something. And I better put my disclaimer in here. I'm not telling you to get off your antidepressants. I'm just saying that maybe, just maybe, they're not helping you. They're managing the symptoms, but they're not helping you with the problem. So as I said, you need to get down to the root causes of the problem. Go to a therapist, join a 12-step group, whatever you need to do. But by all means, don't get off the antidepressants until you have dealt with the problem, because you'll be right back to where you was, maybe paralyzed before you started taking them. All these things are good, or can be good, or they can be bad if you abuse them. But, where was I going? I lost my train of thought. All these things are good. Well, anyway, they have their place, okay? We just need to keep them in their place and use them accordingly. But they're not going to fix you. Oh, I was going to say they're like a crutch. You need to use them until you heal, but you're not going to heal unless you deal with the problem and get to the root of the problem, okay? All right, let me see. We will stop there today. Thank you for joining me. Hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow.